The hour of 7:30 has arrived. Let's bring this business meeting of Urbana School District 116 to order. Roll call, please.
Member Hassanadka?
Here.
Member Hall?
Here.
Member Orr?
Here.
Member Ogalski?
Here.
Member Carter's here. Vice President Exum?
Here.
And President Pulaski.
Here, there are two modifications to tonight's agenda. The first being is we neglected to put a student ambassador report in, so that will immediately precede administrative reports. And we were going to swap items 10.1 and 10.2. We'll do the National Board Certified Teacher update before the Avid presentation. Avid, sorry, presentations. Citizen statements. One statement was emailed to the board. I'll read that off first. This is from Ruth Kondorovitz. Dear members of the board, regarding item 11.1 on the agenda, I would like to point out that there is a mistake in the March 7, 2022 minutes of the Equity Task Force Committee meeting, and the minutes need to be corrected before approval. In the ETF minutes, item 5.1, it states that the committee members reviewed and discussed the presentations with a focus on which one best would fit the needs of our district. The task force discussed their recommendation to the board. The committee agreed to make a recommendation to the Board of Education to enter into a contract with Dr. Yvette Dubiel, Systemic Equity LLC. However, the video of the meeting shows that the discussion ended without a final action. The committee did not vote or agreed on which candidate to recommend to the board before their adjournment. At the end of the meeting, Dr. Caffey and the superintendent told the ETF to submit their vote after the meeting on an online poll. The poll was not a part of the open meeting. I suggest correcting the mistake in the minutes by deleting the final sentence in 5.1. I would also like to mention that such non-public online polls at board committees are in violation of the Illinois Open Meetings Act, according to OMA, as written in the Illinois Association of School Boards publication. Final action can only occur at an open public meeting. Without the public vote, no final action could occur, so even if a public body comes to an agreement or consensus in closed session on an item, it cannot be treated as final until it is voted on in an open session. Sincerely, Ruth Kondorovitz. We do have a number of public participation requests here physically tonight. I'd like to remind the speakers that board policy limits each speaker to 5 minutes, so we'll take them in the order they were received. If anyone else in the interim, though, would like to make a statement before the board, you can submit one of these goldenrod forms that are in the back of the room to our recording secretary, Lori Johnson. First up is Mark Mammon. Yeah, please touch that board once to turn it green. They're perfect.
Hello, everybody. First off, I wanted to thank everyone on the school board for your commitment and all your time and efforts that you do to help make our school district as good as it can be. I know a few of you here. I don't know a lot of you here. I'm a lifetime resident of Urbana. Actually, we moved when I was like 2 years old to Urbana when my father, Wayne, took a job as a teacher and coach at Urbana High School. And I'm here to talk about the impact of sports that can have on kids in our school district and in our community as a whole. As we know, with the pandemic and with the rise in violent crime here in our community, I believe there are a lot of kids, particularly in Urbana, not so much some of the surrounding communities, that are not in sports programming. And we look at the high school. The last couple years, we haven't been able to field a football team, varsity football team. This year, I understand that they haven't been able to field a varsity baseball team, which is pretty astounding to me because it only takes about 15 kids to do that. And then I go back to my childhood, which was pretty rich in sports. I grew up in a sports family, participated in all different kinds of sports, baseball, football, wrestling. It afforded me a scholarship to attend college and participate in sports. It took me overseas, which was very good. All of our kids, my kids, have participated in sports. And I feel sports tend to keep kids away from potentially dangerous idle time. It keeps them off their phones, keeps them off the internet, keeps them off of playing video games. It keeps them off the streets. And I'm also here to support my friend Phil Sexton, who's the head wrestling coach at Urbana, who's trying to lobby for a Iesa middle school wrestling program, which I think would be very beneficial. Because youth sports, if it's not affordable, kids aren't doing it anymore, especially in Urbana, where we have a lot of lower middle class and lower income families. And I think we need to try to do our best to bring those types of programs into the schools. So I'm a big supporter of that. Also, beyond that, I wanted to also pitch an idea, just to put it in everyone's heads here tonight, that I think is very good. It was a program that I was involved with when I was in grade school, and it was called Gray Y. I don't know if anybody's heard of Gray Y before or not. But it was a grade school after-school program that was sports-oriented from about 2nd to 4th or 5th grade. And it was every single day there was a school day, there was a practice. And then on the weekends, we would have competitions against other schools in Urbana. And in the fall, we did flag football. In the wintertime, we did basketball. And in the springtime, we did softball, but it could easily be wiffle ball, right? And I believe all the schools have the facilities. They have all the equipment needed. We could probably get a T-shirt company to provide uniforms, T-shirts or whatever, for all the schools in Urbana. And it would probably only take 1 or 2 volunteers from each grade school. And also, I've been talking with a couple people that are firefighters and police officers who know that there's money for the city designated for community engagement for police officers and firefighters, particularly police officers. And if you can get 1 or 2 volunteers from the police or fire department at each school, along with the volunteers at the schools, you can easily have your coaching staff for the kids. And think about this. If we had 20 to 25 boys and 20 to 25 girls at every school participating in an affordable after-school program that doesn't cost very much, all the way through the entire school year, you're taking probably, 300 some kids off the streets, off of idle time, away from computers, away from internet, away from social media, away from potentially having a gun put in their hand and doing something crazy. So I just wanted to put that in your minds, and hopefully it starts a discussion about the need for affordable sports programming, and especially after-school programming like that.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, I have to stop you. The time's up.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's
Thank
fine.
you very much.
Thank you. The next up is Phil Sexton. Yes.
How's everybody doing today? Can you hear me all right? I don't like these. I'm a PE teacher, so I hate microphones. So first off, I'm here to talk about recognitions. I know I'm supposed to fill out a paper for donations, and I don't believe in that. I believe in doing it face-to-face person. Once I got my donations, I took a hand-delivered letter to the people that gave me the donations, except for one, and I see them all the time. My first thanks would be to Fisher National Bank. They donated $1,000 to the wrestling program and the golf program. So that was kudos to them. My next thanks, and I'll see him hopefully this summer, hopefully, is to Jason Schroeder. He donated over $1,500 in wrestling equipment, which included wrestling shoes and headgear. So kudos to him. That was awesome. And last, but surely not least, Katie and Cord Schroeder, Bash Pepper Roofing, donated an extensive amount of money. Can I say the amount? Do you know the amount? I don't know. The amount goes north of $5 grand. They bought brand new wrestling uniforms this year, brand new warm-up tops, brand new long sleeve warm-up shirts, brand new warm-up shorts, and brand new team shirts for the team this year out of the gracious of their heart. So I personally want to thank her. Buddy's not here. Ward's not here. He's on his way. But it wasn't for them. The wrestling team would have been wearing 1996 uniforms this year.
Wow.
So kudos to them. And like I said, it wasn't for them. You know, we wouldn't really look like a team. We, you know, even parents said, "Wow, you guys, you know, you look great, spectacular." So hopefully that keeps going. You know, that's, you know, we had 30 kids show up, 24 finish the season. So hopefully I keep that going and get that program back to where it used to be in the 80s and 90s. So that's my recognition part. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I'll go on to number 2. I already know what it is. It's here to talk about the Iesa wrestling program. I have flyers for you guys.
Reset the timer.
You don't have to. I won't talk very long. I did a lot of legwork for you, like I told Dr. Tatum I would. The first page talks about why we need the junior high wrestling program, what it benefits the kids for. The next two pages break the money factor down. The only thing that I left out that I wasn't sure until next year was transportation costs. I keep hearing that we have minibuses coming direct. I'll take them. If you're on the boat coming here, sometime. For you guys to look at. So the first page is mainly for why we need to have a junior high wrestling program, to keep feeders going, keep kids off the streets. Wrestling fosters health-related physical fitness in its participants. Student athletes do not enter a game for 20 seconds or only play a half. They wrestle the whole entire time. There is no size restriction in wrestling. There's no male or female. You can be a male or female, you can wrestle. They train hard every day. It's a lifestyle. It develops their cardiovascular endurance, muscular strength, flexibility. They keep check on their body composition percentages. Currently, there are over 8,000 girls that wrestle in high school this year, and over 22 colleges have just started a wrestling program, one being the University of Iowa. Hopefully, Illinois will follow. Currently, there are 350 college wrestling programs and 70 new programs this year that just started. Thus, the sport of wrestling is growing at levels, and memberships and participants are at highs not seen since 1980. So wrestling's on the rise. That's why we really need a wrestling program here at Urbana. Turn to the page. As you can see, there are approximately 29 schools within the area of Urbana that we can get dual meets from, or possibly tournaments. Fairly close. The schedule is as follows for next year. Entry deadline for the school to enter into wrestling is October 3rd. Practice can start November 28th, and meets may begin December 5th. The state series will end March 10th and 11th. I've already looked at practice spaces at the middle school. The gym stage will fit 1 full mat. The cafetorium will fit 2 full mats, and the east deck will fit 2 sections of a mat. I have personally right now at the high school 6 mats, so I can loan 2 of the mats to the junior high, which alleviates a cost of approximately $14,000. So that's not in the cost for the district. Initial upstart for the cost, you know, this is approximately for stuff where I get my uniforms from, but we can find cheaper places. There are 19 kids, weight classes on the team. So I went with 40 uniforms, which would be $1,200. 40 headgear would be $1,200. 40 sweatshirts, about $2,000, for a grand cost of $4,400 for uniforms and gear for the kids. This is a poll of all the schools that you see here of 29. I did a mean. Head coach would cost you approximately $2,500. An assistant coach, if you so choose to go that route, would be $1,500. And like I said, one mat or two mats could be borrowed from the high school for practices and meets. And what a lot of high schools do in the area is they'll bring the junior high team and the high school team will wrestle side by side. So more crowd. That's pretty neat. Entry fee for tournaments cost $125 to $220. This year's officials for one dual meet is $70. For two officials is $90 each. And like I said, I left the transportation cost off until we figure out what's going to happen next year with transportation and with the 2 minibuses. From what I can see from the website, the sports currently offered at the middle school are cross country, boys and girls, volleyball girls, track boys and girls basketball, softball, and boys baseball, which gives you 5 girls sports and 4 boys sports. As you see, the Iesa limitation, if we do have 15 dates, you can have 1 tournament, 14 dates, 2 tournaments, and so forth and so forth. And if we get to that area where, I can help you out with that. No wrestler will wrestle more than 25 regular season matches, and that doesn't have to be that many. To start, we can have 1 competition a week, which give you 8 dual meets and 2 tournaments, and thus alleviating a lot of the cost for referees. And if you just go all away meets and just pay transportation, that takes care of a lot of costs as well. This is a big need for this program, just to keep things going. And like I said, this sport is a foundation for all sports, and it's a way of life. And and like Mr. Mammon said, Urbana really needs it. And before I close, I also want to do 15 seconds. I think you need to start pushing boys and girls golf at the middle school. You don't need a coach. You just need a sponsor, and all they have to do is sign up for the regionals. Cost comes out of the parents' fee, which is $40. They go play in a regional tournament, and if they happen to advance, they keep going on to the state series and just continue to pay. Thank you guys. Listen to me. I mean, it really would be a great idea if you can get this program growing, because I know there's a PE position open at the middle school, so that'd be a great place to put a coach. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Sexton.
Thank you.
Next up is Jordan Warhover.
Can everybody hear me okay? All right. My name is Jordan Morover. I'm a junior at Urbana High School, and I'm 17. I would like to preface what I'm about to say with this. I've been told several times in the past week that me speaking here today would be consequential and would be a risk to any reform that would be happening, whether that was socially or by administration. But I'm here today to speak on behalf of myself and other sexual assault survivors, because this is an issue that means so much to me, and it bothers me that so little has been done about it for the people that have spoken up. When I was in 6th grade at Urbana Middle School, I was sexually assaulted for the first time. It was my first middle school dance. I was having a lot of fun. I went to get my phone from my backpack that was behind an inflatable. Suddenly, I was pushed against the wall and groped by a man I had never seen before. I was barely able to escape before the unthinkable act could happen. I never told any of the adults at school because I had heard the stories that they don't do any investigations or reporting. It took me years to tell my parents because from what I had heard, no one seemed to care. And since I've gotten to the high school, these stories have only gotten worse. I've been groped in the hallways more times than I can count on my hands. I've been catcalled so often that it starts to fade into the daily background noises of our crowded hallways at Urbana High School. I haven't come here to demand anything, but I have come here to say this. We as students deserve better. We deserve to have a feeling of relief knowing that our administration and board members are going to fight for our safety. Even though it may seem like a hassle to some of you and to some of the administration, but we are counting on you to help us. And it's devastating when nothing happens. We feel defeated, worthless, and let down. A lot of us seem very mature, and we like to think of ourselves as adults or grown-ups. But I'd like to remind you that we are still children. We still need your help. All I ask is that more is done for sexual assault survivors at Urbana High School. Once again, my name is Jordan Morover, and I'm a survivor. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Moreover. Next is Crystal Castro.
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Good afternoon. My name is Crystal Castro, and I am a student at Urbana High School, and I'm a junior, and I'm 17 years old. So, there was a protest. The school decided to do a protest about sexual assault awareness. It's for anyone who is willing to support or is a survivor and decides to go and, try to express themselves. But it did not end up going very well, and many really felt very, I guess, upsetting mostly because it was only 30 minutes, and they didn't want to do it more longer, and teachers decided to just not support it and just tear up the posters in front of everyone. The students angrily not wanting them to do this and not saying basically oh, this is not okay. That's what they felt. That's one issue, and the other issue is a friend of mine, no, I don't want to say any names, but was, I guess, assaulted. But we spoken with a few friends of mine spoken to a teacher about it, saying what happened, but I'm pretty sure they really didn't really do anything, and that really is an issue, because many people in the school, they talk about it, but they don't really seem to care and not figure the situation, and that's really is a problem, because I think that should be something that should be aware of for them to figure out, because it's not okay for them to be silent and keep suffering more. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next is Deacon. Sorry, I can't quite these. Marlowe, is it?
Hello, or can y'all hear me okay? All right.
Yes.
Hello, and thank you for letting me speak tonight. My name is Amara Marlowe. You might also know me as Deacon, and I wanted to address and share my recent experiences with the administration on the sexual harassment and sexual assault going on involving the students at Urbana High School. I happen to be a junior there as well. At first, I was debating putting this in, but Jordan made me realize that I actually should. I would like to recount an interaction that I had addressing the matter of reporting a sexual assault that was committed by one of Urbana High School students towards another student off school grounds. I was in my PE class one day talking to my friends when one of them chose to confide in us and vulnerably disclosed about another student being sexually assaulted by said student. We decided to stand behind our friend and support them in reporting this as a group to make sure the person who had done this wouldn't be given the chance to do it again. When this was brought to the attention of an administrator, they wanted us to give them a written statement, which we did, and let us know that they followed up with the situation promptly. However, in fact, no one ever followed up with us who gave our written statement or with the victim. They gave us all the impression that this situation did not matter. It makes us question why we are encouraged to come to the educators and administrators in our school when something is wrong, but they aren't willing to take any action. It is discouraging, disappointing, and saddening that those who say they care and want to support us would try to sweep something so big and in need of immediate response under the rug. Last week today, we had a walkout protest at 10 a.m. Our student body set up the walkout for students to join, and administration was notified. We were given 30 minutes to stand our ground for this matter, but on my way out of class at 10 a.m. on the dot is when Principal Nance came out accusing us all of being 10 minutes late to our own protest. It seemed as though he was trying to sabotage our protest by taking away almost half of the small of time given to us. Administration said this would act as an assembly for students, but this was in fact not an assembly. This was a protest to try and get our school to listen to the voices they've been trying to silence. I'm appalled at the behavior shown by staff, and especially Fresh Principal Nance during the walkout. I saw and have receipts of another student sharing a recording of Fresh Principal Nance absolutely dismissing our complaints against the lack of action taken by the school. Within this recording, we see Principal Nance telling the students at the protest that they are talking crazy and was using the no means no as an argument for why he shouldn't be video recorded, which isn't true according to the Illinois Public Recording Law. It was disrespectful for him to use such emotionally charged and discouraging words to demean us for fighting for our right to protest against such a heinous crime. I find that to be disrespectful to the cause, as he is using powerful words against sexual assault as a means to defend himself for something completely legal. After the protest, we were told to give up our signs. I do understand the legality of protest signs inside of the school. However, the staff tore the signs up in front of students very angrily, which is disrespectful and not necessary at all. I also heard from another student that on the way inside of the school, a staff member commented saying, if they cared so much, they might as well just cover up. That is beyond levels of disrespectful and should not be tolerated inside of the school. At lunch, some students walked up to Principal Nance trying to talk to him about the walkout. He was not only ignoring them and choosing to talk to other students instead, but he even went as far as being on his phone. He also said his student was a repercussion of the walkout. I think his behavior during the walkout and within school should not go unchecked, and something should be done about it. I have also heard students in the hallway talking about having a buddy system to walk to class to make sure they are safe in the hallway going to classes. They said, a lot of us will be late to class, but that's okay as long as we are safe. To think students have to jeopardize their education and attendance to be safe in this school is beyond unacceptable. I hear Principal Nance on these announcements every morning and in the hallways preaching about how amazing his students are and how much he cares about them and their education. However, he does not seem to be meeting these expectations he is talking about. Instead, he's ignoring these concerns and letting these students feel unsafe and isn't helping them at all. I would like to see the administration do better than this and actually help their students. It is very disappointing to see them act like this to their students. Now, I do know there were some recent emails from the administration about this, an email sent by our Principal Nance never acknowledging what was going on and only trying to make himself look better by asking others to report if we know or heard of anything. Other faculty members of our school have acknowledged the insincerity of the email and called it quite laughable. We have been reporting these concerns to Principal Nance and the administration, but we have been left with no response or follow-up, and not surprisingly, not action taking place. However, I still feel we should bring this to their attention because after the behavior as of late, I feel these emails are to save face rather than say they're going to help us. However, I think Miss Jennifer Ivory Tatum's email was actually in concern of students and actually trying to help them out, while Principal Nance's was not. Thank you for your time tonight.
Next up is Iesa Rogers.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? I am not entirely comfortable giving a massive speech just on the spot, but I'm going to read out to you an email that I wrote to the administration and was unable to send given some other issues with students' emails at the time. To whom it may concern, I'm reaching out in regards to what I and others view as a poor response from the school administration during and after the school walkout and protest. I want to start with an apology for any disrespect aimed at any staff member who was doing their job trying to get students to return to class, to learn, as this is without argument the purpose of school. And I would then like to address the response to the students who remained outside and attempted to talk to staff members about the situation. The staff indicated, that the protest was only allowed for a predetermined time slot of 30 minutes, 10 a.m. to 10:30 a.m., stating that the original organizers of the protest, or of the event, had agreed to this. Staff told several students who were heading back into the school that remaining outside, or who were not heading back into the school, remaining outside will result in a suspension, and they are responsible for their actions. In response to this, I would like to clarify that the school does have the right to enact disciplinary action on any student skipping class for any reason. However, this may not exceed already put in place measures for participation in political protests. As I am aware, the punishment for a one-class unexcused absence is a 30-minute after-school detention, not a suspension. The school cannot only punish some students, i.e., they cannot support the students leaving class at the beginning of the event and then decide to punish the students who remained outside. The next thing I would like to address is the treatment of students by some staff members. When a student confronted Principal Nance about their situation, I'll just abbreviate.
Yeah, it was inadvertent. Please continue.
Oh, okay. Thank you. If I can find my spot. And I'm sorry about my difficulty reading. I have a print disability. The next thing I would like to address is the treatment of some students by some, or of the treatment of students by some staff members. When a student confronted Principal Nance about their situation with sexual assault being dismissed by the administration, he said, quote, "Your situation is different," then refused to have the conversation radioing to staff, ignore the crazy students. I find these reactions to be incredibly inappropriate response to, I'm sorry.
Take your time.
An incredibly inappropriate response to students' concerns. First, because addressing that a student's sexual assault is different and then blowing them off is exactly the kind of response we're outside to protest. And second, referring to students as crazy is inappropriate for a school staff member at any time, especially students dealing with mental health harm and trauma that the school is ignoring. The final thing I would like to address in this letter is that the school cannot organize a political walkout. Any claim that the staff made about having control over the protest after 30 minutes is unreasonable, as the purpose of the walkout and the school protest is to show the shortcomings and flaws of the administrative practices of the school, not to skip class for 30 minutes, then return when we're told to. Our point is made through peaceful noncompliance or civil disobedience. I must admit that it is likely that a substantial number of students only left to get out of class, but the majority of those students returned to school when instructed. Because while people who remained outside were doing so for the reason that I hope we can agree is important. Every student has the right to learn. Teachers and administrators have a responsibility to protect students' right to learn. So I entirely understand the staff trying to resume school as promptly as possible. Whatever protects students from physical harm is of greater importance. No teacher would insist on teaching if there were a fire or tornado. They would take appropriate measures to protect the students. I and many other students believe that our safety needs are not being adequately addressed and are intentionally disrupting learning so that the school may hear us. This situation is on you, Urbana School District, to protect students' learning and safety. It is up to the staff of Urbana High School to make the environment a safe space. I hope to see the administration take action against sexual assault, harassment, and violence in our schools, just as several of our students have already committed to do. Thank you for giving me time.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. That's the end of our submitted requests. Does anybody else wish to address the board this evening? All right, hearing none, I just want to state no student would ever receive adverse consequences for speaking before this board. You are all free to come here whenever you want to say whatever you want. So please continue to do so. Thank you for coming here bravely tonight. There is no call for executive session after tonight's meeting. Is there a motion to approve tonight's agenda as amended?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? We have an agenda. Next up is our commendation recognitions. Oh, so it's our national board?
Yep.
You can go ahead.
Yep.
Thanks.
Okay. So, we have 3 teachers that we want to recognize. I don't know, Ms. Smith, if you want to come up as well with them? No, she does not. Okay. So, just for our audience members, I know, we know how much work, and if those 3 people can start coming up to the front, Ms. Charukian, Ms. Smith-Andre, and Ms. Surratt. So we know how much work and time, I don't know if our public knows, the amount of effort and extra work outside of your regular teaching duties for classes and the hours and hours and hours of projects that go into national board recognition. But we as a board know that, and we will always want to yearly recognize your efforts. And we have a plaque for you that will hang outside your classroom. So come on up. So to Elizabeth Smith-Andre and Ms. Carrie Surratt from Thomas Paine and from Urbana High School. So stay up here. You guys got to take a picture. And also, Martha Charukian is recertifying. So she received her first certification in 2011, and she recently recertified. So let's give a hand clap to Ms. Charukian. Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you so much. Congratulations. It's a lot of work. There is no policy review tonight. So up next is our student ambassador report. Can you get the mic, please?
So last week we used the student ambassador Instagram account to poll the students about what their thoughts and opinions were on the SRO, and we got a lot of feedback, some very good comments, and I think it really offered a opportunity for the students to be very open. We got some very honest responses, so it was very successful.
I'd like to give a few shout outs to a few people, starting off with Mr. Marcus Jackson for providing the opportunity for the youth to take part in oratory. It's been a great experience. It's my first time ever taking part in the oratorical contest, and it's a great experience. Secondly, moving on, Parker's going to have to help me with the track phraseology, but congratulations to all the whole UHS track team for ending with the most total varsity points from the last meet. A special shout out to Emmanuel, who keeps trying to get me to join the team, but I just have to keep reiterating to him, the moment I step foot on that track is the moment that their rank drops tremendously.
One thing. So Parker has shared the feedback from the Instagram polls, and so we'll incorporate that into some of our other SRO data when we bring that forward. So thanks a lot for doing that. We appreciate that.
Okay, next up is our National Board Certified Teacher update. So Beth Mears, Julie Erlinger, Jennifer Smith, Amy Smith, Yamanda Smith.
I'm good? Okay. All right. So thank you so much for giving us time tonight to tell you a little bit about the Urbana National Board Professional Development. And also thank you so much for recognizing our new NBCTs through, as Dr. Ivory Tatum said, a lot of hard work. We're going to take just a few minutes quickly to introduce ourselves. I am Beth Mears. I am an NBCT as well, and I am a recent retiree of Urbana School District, and I am the facilitator of the cohort.
Hi, I'm Julie Erlinger, and I am an NBCT. Say that 3 times, you guys. Also, I've been helping Beth out a little bit with the Urbana cohort this year, and I am currently in the position of Teacher Leadership Professional Development Coordinator.
And I'm just going to leave that on the table.
Oh, that's fine. Good evening. My name is Amy Smith, and I'm the director of the National Board Resource Center. We are housed at Illinois State University, and we oversee the Illinois State Board of Education program for educators achieving and pursuing national board certification. Thank you.
And I'm Jennifer Smith. Sorry. So I'm Jennifer Smith. I am the Assistant Director of the National Board Resource Center at ISU, and I am also a National Board Certified Teacher in science.
And one other person that needs to be recognized who is not sitting here with us is Mrs. Yvonne Smith, who is the Director of Professional Development, and she is the administrator from the district that oversees this cohort and who is actively engaged with us in this cohort. We need a little worker. Okay, so thank you. So this evening we would just really kind of want to give you some information about what National Board Certification is. We want to also give you some information about why does Urbana have its own professional development cohort, and how does the National Board Resource Center at ISU, how does that work with Urbana 116? And then of course, how does having National Board Certified teachers in our district support the student learning of our students? So what is National Board Certification? And I think the quotes on the slide really speak to what it is. But first of all, this is a voluntary certification that teachers go through. It's a process that guides educators to really reflect on their knowledge of their students, reflect on their content, their teaching practices, in order to continuously improve their instruction so that their students can reach their maximum potential. The National Board for Professional Teaching Standards really does have one main goal, which is that every student have the opportunity to be taught by a National Board Certified teacher. The quotes that you see in the words in bold really do, I just want to emphasize those, that this is a process that is designed to develop, retain, and recognize accomplished teachers. It is the most respected professional certification available for K-12 educators. And NBCTs have met the profession's highest standards for accomplished practice. And we can attest that it is a rigorous, performance-based, and peer review process. And I know you all have access to the slides, and we're not going to watch a video, but that video there is a video that was produced by the National Board Resource Center, and it's all about Illinois teachers and what that process, going through this process, has done for them as educators, and also does a really nice job of explaining what the process is. This slide are what we call our 5 core propositions. These are the foundations of National Board, is what National Board is built on. I like to call it like the foundation of a house. Without this, your house is going to fall down. These are our key principles for what accomplished teachers should know and be able to do, that they're committed to their students, that accomplished teachers know their subjects, they know how to teach those subjects to their students, responsible for managing and monitoring student learning. Accomplished teachers think systematically, they're reflective about their practice, and they learn from their experiences. And teachers are also members of learning communities, and whether those learning communities are at the building level or the district level as well. And I'm going to let Julie talk a little bit about the actual process.
Yeah, so Beth has kind of explained how this process is built, what it's built upon here, and I thought you might want to know a little bit about what it actually looks like when a teacher is going through this process. Typically, it is a 2-year process. They can take a little bit longer. They can take, 3 years if they want to, but the way we're working with the cohort is 2 years, and in those 2 years, they go through these 4 components, okay? So component 1 is called content knowledge, and it's exactly what it sounds like. They are masters of a subject that they teach. If they're a math teacher, if they're a generalist teacher in the elementary, science, etc., they know their content well and they know how to teach it. This is the one component in which the candidates need to go to an assessment center and actually take a standardized test, some multiple choice, and some essay that have to do with the teaching of their content and the knowledge of their content. Component 2 is called differentiation in instruction, and in this component, the teacher actually focuses on, in terms of providing to MBPTS, 2 students in a classroom who have different skill sets and different needs, and how that teacher is going to differentiate to be able to meet those needs of that student and allow that student to grow to the best of his or her ability. Component 3 is called teaching practice and learning environment, and this one is really the component that allows a teacher to show or showcase the classroom community that he or she has built. The way that is done is through videotape and written commentary. 2 lessons that are videotaped in 2 different formats, one as a whole class instruction and one in some other format, small groups, pairs, something else. And then the final one is component 4, which is the effective and reflective practitioner. And this is the one in which, through written commentary and through data, they're allowed to show the impact on student learning, data they've collected over time, how they've worked with other people, community members, other colleagues in the school, parents, so that they can show the greater impact that they're having with their students in their classroom. And then this is really just a little bit about what our professional development cohort looks like and what they're doing here. And so we meet 12 times a year, sometimes in the beginning of the year once a month, then sometimes twice a month as we're getting closer to the submission deadline. Shared leadership of the cohort, collaboration among the administrator that we have, Yvonda, the MBCT facilitator, which is Beth this year, and then the teacher candidates that are in the cohort. The administrator is providing support without an evaluative approach, and I can assure you that Yvonda is amazingly supportive of our candidates all the time there, and always wanting to learn more about the process. So it's been really wonderful to have her there. And the cohort mission aligns with the school and district goals. And we are lucky to be able to have materials that are shared with us from the National Board Resource Center, Amy and Jennifer, and they're going to actually speak to you a little bit next.
Well, thank you. So the National Board Resource Center, like we said, is housed at Illinois State University, and we oversee the program for the whole state of Illinois. We've been charged by the Illinois State Board of Education to oversee all the forms of support as well as the financial assistance that the state has provided educators for over 20 years. And so we process the subsidy, we make sure that the candidates are fully supported, we make sure our facilitators are fully supported to make sure that the educators who are candidates going through the process are successful in their journey to obtaining National Board certification. So the state of Illinois has a strong history of National Board certification. And as you can see from some of the stats that we have up here, we are 5th in the nation for renewed National Board certified teachers, 3rd for brand newly named National Board certified teachers, and 6th in the nation for the total number of National Board certified teachers. We have over 7,000 here in the state of Illinois. So it's very exciting. We have a very strong program and a lot of support by the Illinois State Board of Education as well as Illinois legislators. And what we do at the National Board Resource Center, I talked a little bit about this, but we make sure that we fully support educators going through the process. That is our job. Jennifer and I work every day to make sure that candidates have the tools and the resources that they need to be successful, and that means making sure that our facilitators have the tools that they need to be able to lead candidates through the process. We make sure that Candidates who apply for the state subsidy are fully financially supported, as well as we work at improving our processes to make sure that we meet the needs of all of the candidates in the state of Illinois.
And I'll just add that without the Resource Center, as far as our candidates being able to go through this process, it would be very difficult because it is such an expensive process to go through. It is a $1,900 fee that the state, and with the help of the Resource Center, does pay for our candidates. We are required to pay a $75 registration fee, and that's it. So we truly do appreciate all that the Resource Center does for us and our candidates. Okay, so how does the National Board Certification impact our students? And again, on the slide, I think the bullets really do speak for that there's more than a decade of research that has been done from across the country that does confirm that students that are taught by National Board Certified teachers do learn more than those students taught by teachers who are not NBCTs, and that's even greater for our students of low income and also our students of color. 91% of teachers change their teaching after going through the National Board process, and I think that Julie, myself, Jennifer, and even Elizabeth tonight and Carrie would agree that we are not the same teachers that we were before going through this process, that it transformed our teaching and really continuously has led us to reflect upon what we know about our students, about our content, and about our teaching practice. And we wanted to share this slide with you to really show NBPTS, the National Board for Professional Teaching Standards, their continuum for accomplished practice. And the basis for this continuum is National Board's belief, and I believe Urbana's belief, that every child deserves to be taught by an accomplished teacher. And when that becomes a reality, the impact will be significant. But getting to that accomplished practice does start with giving our pre-service teachers, so our student teachers, the opportunity to do their clinical experiences with a cooperating teacher that is an NBCT or a teacher that has incorporated those 5 core propositions into their practice. The teaching practice of our novice teachers can, and in our district, is being strengthened by instilling those 5 core propositions into the mentoring program, into the induction program, and that we know that is true with Julie, with Mrs. Smith, who are in charge of the mentoring and the induction programs. Those 5 core propositions are being instilled in what is being presented to those teachers. And as well as we're really having our novice teachers be mentored by our NBCTs in the district. As you move on to that continuum, our professional, or I like to call them our seasoned teachers, they can continue to impact student learning by taking part in professional development opportunities that embed those core propositions into the content that's presented. And then, of course, at the heart, and what we're really trying to strive for, is the board certification, where teachers are demonstrating how they impact student learning through their understanding and their knowledge of their students and their deep content knowledge, along with that continuous reflection piece that they are doing. And lastly, on the continuum, you can see that National Board is often the springboard to grow professionally as a teacher and taking a path of a teacher leader or school leader. And I think that that's very true in our district. Many of our NBCTs have taken on roles as department heads, induction coordinators, instructional coaches, lead mentors, curriculum coordinators, professional development coordinators. It really does lead you to that path. And we have some that are going ahead and pursuing more courses at the college level to become assistant principals or principals as well.
And we wanted to just give you a little bit more about who our National Board Certified teachers are within this district and who are the teachers that are pursuing National Board Certification. I'm not going to read all these names to you, and you will have access to them later, but I can tell you that we currently have 20 National Board Certified teachers in Urbana School District, and I think that's quite an accomplishment for our district. We have 12 in this initial cohort that we're working with right now. Some are in year 1 of that process, and some are in year 2 of that process. We have 5 individuals that we're working with now in what's called a maintenance of certification cohort, and National Board did some changes recently in terms of how National Board teachers renew. They're calling that maintenance of certification, and they have to maintain every 5 years. We have 5 people working on that this year as well. So it's a lot of accomplishment here.
Yep. And the cohort will continue next year with Julie taking it completely over next year.
Keep asking her, but.
And we will also continue to have that maintenance of certification cohort as well, those teachers that will be renewing. So, questions or any comments?
Board members, questions or comments? Student ambassadors as well. Go ahead, Ann.
I just had a quick one. First of all, congratulations to all of you. Every time you guys come and present to us, it makes me so proud, and I always love to see the list of teachers up there. New ones, old ones, ones that my own kids had as teachers. I can testify to how excellent they were for my own kids, and I hope that interest keeps growing. How do you grow the interest? Is it one of those programs that, like, you know, you don't know about it until you know somebody who's in it, or is it something that Urbana is really good at, you know, broadcasting out to try and encourage people to join? Are we ahead of the curve in this community, or are we kind of on a par with, you know, our neighbors around Champaign County? How's it going?
I don't know the comparison answer.
I don't know numbers off the top of my head. I don't know if you do, Amy. I believe we do, our number is higher than Champaign. But other than that, I don't have exact numbers. As far as recruitment, we do our best. We've done road shows in the past. That's been a little bit more difficult this year. I think, to be really honest, and Julie would probably agree, this has been a hard year. And you know, I just don't know if we have a lot of teachers this particular year that are ready to take that on. I would imagine that, perhaps not next year, but the following year, we might have more. Word of mouth, though, is definitely something that we do try to use in order to try to get more teachers involved in this.
We've done informational sessions at Winter Institute this year. We've done optional informational meetings after school. Certainly the district's support of National Board Certification, even in simply as the plaques that you guys gave out tonight to our 3 newest, or well, 2 newest and then 1 renewal certified teacher, hang outside of their classroom doors. And that is a constant reminder, I think, of the importance of this process in this district. So we believe very strongly in this. I will go ahead and piggyback off of what Beth said earlier. I am a very different teacher as a National Board Certified teacher than I was prior to that, because it made me a much more reflective person in terms of what I'm doing. And I always, you know, I felt like I was giving it my best all the time, but going through this really changed the way that I approached my students, and I approached my lessons, and I approached my classroom. And so because of that, we will continue to work hard to spread that word, to get as many teachers involved. And if we have dips along the way because of things that are going on outside of education or that are impacting education, then we'll pick up again as best we can the next time.
And one thing I wanted to mention that maybe our new board members aren't aware of is the commitment from the board and the district to
Absolutely.
continue the stipend.
Yes, that was gonna be my
You
next.
just gonna say that. But, and I know our national board, our MBCTs don't do it for that money. I mean, but it is, I think, nice to show our
That is.
commitment and how much we value and appreciate the hard
Absolutely.
work by making sure that we memorialize that in our contract every year. We make sure that it is something that we value, and we put that in writing, and we renew it, and it's never up for discussion. And so I think that means a lot to the teachers,
It does.
because it just shows that we're appreciating your hard work.
Absolutely. We're thankful for that, among many other things. I mean, the support of this professional development cohort. We had
Yes.
one several years ago. We have a really strong one now, and hoping to keep that continuing and growing. Allowing a day, a professional day for our candidates to write. And of course, the stipend, the plaques, the recognition. We just know that Urbana 116 really supports this process. And thank you for that.
Thank you very much. I think it's an extraordinary investment for us to invest in you, because it always it plays out in the kids. It's obvious, and, you know, it's just a wonderful program. So thank you for coming and talking to us again this year.
Thank you.
One question I do have is, in terms of your certified staff, is it breakdown fairly even across elementary versus secondary, or is it mostly kind of in the secondary staff who's participating?
Quick count.
I do.
You'd
I
think I'd
think
be
it-
prepared for that. I don't know.
No, I do think it's interesting. It is elementary and high school. We're really working to recruit middle school, but when you look at the 20, I'm just kind of glancing through it on my notes. It's pretty half and half with elementary and with the high school level. And elementary, it's a lot of the different buildings. It's not just one building in particular, and a lot of different certificate areas at the high school.
Well,
as well.
that's great. I
Yeah.
think it's important to have teacher leaders in every facility and able to work on the middle school.
Yes.
We'll keep trying.
Anyone else? Thank you all for your presentations tonight.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
for the time
Thanks
so
to our
much.
guests.
Thank you for
Yes.
inviting us.
Yes.
Having to drive so far, they're going back to Peoria.
I live in Peoria,
Yeah,
yeah.
so, yay, thank you.
Okay. Next up is our Avid presentation.
Okay, so Ms. Smith, you can't get out of this one. Are you coming to the table this, oh, Bill? No. No, just me. So, yes, that's okay, but you're not just me. So Annie Allegretti is here, and I know the board had a initial presentation about Avid, so Annie's here to give us another update and talk about some of the work that has been done this year. I don't know, Kim, if you want to add anything. I know you work really closely with this group.
Yeah, Annie's just been working really hard with Urbana Middle School, and, you know, it was challenging last year during the pandemic. We were limited on some of the things that we were able to do as far as field trips, and so we're continuing to really recruit and have that team building within Urbana Middle School, and so Annie's going to highlight that a little bit for us.
All right, hello everyone, good evening. My name is Ann Allegretti. I'm the secondary curriculum coordinator and Avid district director. And just a little note about the presentation, all the pictures are our current Avid students at Urbana Middle School. Okay, so I just want to go a brief overview of Avid. I know some of you heard a presentation last year, but just a little bit of background about the program. And then some information about projection of our district plan with Avid, and then some updates from the program at Urbana Middle School. Okay, so Avid, what is Avid? It stands for Advancement via Individual Determination, which is quite a mouthful, so which is why we call it Avid. And this is its mission: to close the opportunity gap by preparing all students for college readiness and success in a global society. So really, what does that mean? So Avid is a nonprofit organization. It was started in 1980. It has impacted more than 2 million students, and that's from the 2020 to 21 school year, provides academic and social support to ensure students' success in high school, college, and careers. There are numerous goals of Avid. It's a support system to assist with school-wide approaches to provide educators with a variety of levels of instruction to support, guide, and prepare all students for college and careers. It also strengthens family involvement in the educational system. And then the Avid approach, it really has basically 4 different components to it. So in terms of equity, I already mentioned closing the opportunity gap and increasing college graduation rates among historically underserved and underrepresented populations. There's also a lot of teacher training that is involved in Avid, so professional development, and I'll touch more about that and who has been trained in the past and who are currently going to be training this summer. It causes a whole shift in culture. So the Avid approach, it really is a school-wide approach. And it's not just an additional thing added on, but it can be woven into everything that's already being done at the school. And then it really allows students, it grows their own agency, it helps with social skills, and it really gives students more ownership over their own learning and over their own future. So this is just some numbers about Avid in Illinois. So you can see how many different counties Avid is in. 22 years in Illinois so far, 35 districts throughout Illinois, and then there's a breakdown of elementary, secondary, and combination. So we are considered in our 2nd year of implementation, even though we are really in our 1st year with the Avid Elective in the middle school. And I'll talk more about that in a little bit. And we currently only have a secondary program because we are only at Urbana Middle School right now. This is a breakdown in Illinois of how many students are being served in Illinois, just some demographics in terms of race and the free and reduced lunch numbers. And then over on this side, some information about students who have completed the Avid program and just their GPA, their acceptance to college, and even their success in college, all because of the Avid program. So that's just a little bit of background about Avid. And then in terms of Avid here in the district, so last school year, 2021, that was really the 1st year of Avid. However, we didn't have the elective because most of the year was remote. So the summer of 2020 started with 20 staff members being trained, mostly from the middle school, a few elementary also. And that was really just a building year at the middle school in terms of working on why are they using Avid, working on some different strategies, incorporating those in monthly staff and team meetings. And then at the end of last school year is really when students were starting to be recruited for the Avid program. So then this school year, we have the 6th grade Avid Elective, and starting in Q1, there were 18 students that were recruited, interviewed, and then welcomed into that Avid Elective program. And then at Q2, we were able to recruit more students. So now we have 2 classes and 34 students in the Avid Elective program at the middle school. Also this year we've had monthly site team meetings. So that's the site team is all of the staff members who have been trained in Avid meet monthly and go over the different goals of Avid and work on different components of the Avid program and the school-wide approach. There's also been staff PD on Avid strategies at the middle school. And they recently had an Avid showcase in which teachers highlighted different strategies and other teachers walked around to their classroom and were able to learn about those different strategies. We are very excited that next week will be our first field trip. So we are going to be taking the 6th grade Avid Elective students to ISU for the day. And they are going to be getting a tour of the quad and the campus. And they opened up the cafeteria to let them eat there, which is just really exciting. And they made some t-shirts today that they're gonna wear on that field trip. So all involved are very excited that we actually get to do this. That was a big draw for a lot of the students to be able to go and see colleges. And it's been a little sad to not be able to do that for them. They've done some virtual things, so actually going on a field trip next week will be really exciting, great opportunity. And then there's been some family engagement and information sessions. There was one held in person in the fall for those 18 incoming students and their families. And then we've had to have some other virtual ones that have been follow-up to that. So hoping for more in-person ones in the future. So moving forward in the district, next school year, we're continuing with summer training. So we have 3 high school staff members who are going to be trained this summer, 14 UMS, and then 3 district staff. And starting to train the high school, because what we are doing with the Avid program is growing it year by year. So all the 6th graders in the Avid program this year will then move on to 7th grade, 8th grade, so on and so on. So eventually we will be in the high school. And so we want to start training some of the high school staff to start building that capacity and knowledge of Avid, starting to get people talking about Avid at the high school, and getting people excited about what's to come there. So as I already said, we're going to add that 7th grade elective class next year. More 6th graders, incoming 6th graders. We've already done the recruitment for that and started interviews. Actually last night, started interviewing incoming 6th graders for the Avid program. And then more staff PD, and as I said, hopefully more field trips next year, and community engagement and the family engagement piece. All of which have, you know, sadly been a little lacking in the past year, but we really hope to boost all of those things. And then school year 23-24, it'll be full school-wide at UMS with all 3 grade levels. And then in 24-23 is when we project it to be at the high school with the 9th grade elective. So just a little bit more information focused on the middle school. So exactly what the Avid elective is. So students who are in the Avid elective, they meet every day. It's a class period. It is one of their elective courses that they take in 6th grade. It provides academic support, but it also provides a lot of social support, organizational skills, team building skills. Students do things like binder checks to help them with organization. They also have tutorials twice a week, which are provided by tutors from the university who come over twice a week. And there's actually a whole tutorial process in which students really work on their questioning skills and bring up academic questions and present them to the rest of the students, and the tutors are there to facilitate that process. They've had a few speakers this year, some of them virtual, some of them in person. They were able to bring Avid alumni. I believe there's 2 Avid alumni at the middle school who actually went through the Avid program themselves and then are staff now at the middle school. So they came and talked to the students about the importance of the Avid program and what it really did for them. So this is just some demographic information about the students we have in the Avid program currently. Again, these are all 6th grade students, so you can see an ethnic and racial breakdown, as well as just some more student special population breakdown information. Again, this is 35 total 6th graders across 2 sections of the Avid elective. All right, so a couple of things I've already kind of touched on about Avid at UMS. So we are actually going tomorrow, a few of us, myself and a few staff members, to visit Champaign middle schools who have had the Avid program for quite a while now, and all of their middle schools are national demonstration schools for Avid. So we are going to be visiting them tomorrow and hopefully gaining some insight about how we can improve our own program. On May 3rd, we have our Avid program manager and regional manager coming to visit. So they are going to visit both Avid classes at the middle school, and then we are going to give them a tour of the middle school and just be able to sit down and talk with them more. Everything so far has been virtual with them, so it'll be great to actually meet them face to face and in person. Continue recruiting for next year with the 5th graders, recruiting for the 6th grade elective, and then continuing to increase that elective at every level, continuing our partnership with the university for our tutorials and our tutors, and again, more family involvement. So that is everything I have about the Avid program. If you have any questions, again, these are our wonderful kiddos in the Avid program. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Any questions or comments, board?
I just want to express my excitement. It's been a long time coming for Avid at Urbana School District.
I have heard,
know there was
yes.
some push for it in some previous years, and there was resistance there for whatever reason, but I am super excited to have it in Urbana. I feel like we could end up being one of those national demonstration schools pretty quickly. I look forward to seeing the program grow and hit the high school, and I love the class period and the things that you're doing during that time. I think that is super helpful for kids, especially as they hit the middle school and things change as far as what the requirements are and the different courses and keeping up. I think that class really could be offered to all of our students, to be honest with you, but happy to see it here, happy to see Avid. I can't wait to hear more and see more about its happenings, so thank you.
Yeah, I've heard that about the Avid program, a long time coming, and I know Yovanda's here. She was a great champion for bringing that and was the district director before, so she's done a great job laying a solid foundation, so it's really been great working with her on moving this program forward, so.
I have to echo what Tori just said. I think this is wonderful, and I'm so excited to see you come back year after year and tell us how it's progressing, because just as you were talking, I was thinking of all the pieces that we need to put in place for kids to think about being college students themselves, to visualize themselves, especially if they're maybe the first in their family to go. They don't even know what it looks like. So just taking a field trip for a sixth grader, when you're in sixth grade, you're not even thinking of high school, let alone college. So to see the place and know that this is where you might end up if you work hard, and that this is what your goals are, can help them visualize in the years to come. And I just think as we see it move toward high school, we've always talked in this district about how kids who want to be in college or should be in college need to start as early as possible. And by ninth grade, sometimes it's even too late then to get kids interested in working towards that goal. So I'm glad that you're starting as young as you are, and I really hope you do come back year after year and tell us how it's progressing, especially once we've got large groups of those kids in high school and how it plays out. And also the family support component is so important for kids who might be, again, the first one in their family to go. They don't have any family background experience on what the college prep experience is like, and so having this whole group here at the school district to help get them through the gates and then get, ready to succeed is so important. I don't want to see kids getting excited about going and then they get to college and they're overwhelmed with all of the things that they need to do and take care of. This will give them a great foundation to stick with it. So please come back and tell us how great you're doing. I'm so excited. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. And I didn't put it up on here, but you mentioned the first generation college student. That is, a group that Avid likes to target. We asked that question in the interview, and so it's about, and again, these are students telling us whether someone in their family has been to college or not. So take with that what you want to, but it's about 80% of our current students who say that they would be the first in their family to attend college.
Wow.
So that's pretty inspiring to see.
That's great.
I actually, I would like to see this even at the elementary schools, because I think the organizational tools that Avid teaches the students, and just the time references, how they can organize not only their homework but their time allotments, are very, very important, even in kindergarten children, so they can get started on the right track.
Mm-hmm. And there are some elementary staff that are trained, that were trained 2 summers ago.
Thank you.
Any other board members? I just want to state that this is such a great example of showing all of our kids that we have high expectations of them, that we believe in them, that we're willing to invest in them, and very, very excited about this work. So thank you so much for showing us what's been done so far, and we look forward to seeing what happens in the years ahead.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Annie.
Next up is our sub-district map update. John?
Yes, so as you guys may remember, at the last meeting, we reviewed the final 3 maps and narrowed it down to 1 map. The board had a few additional requests. Did come out of the wall also.
Yeah, we need to make this wireless.
Anyway, the board's additional requests were to revise the map and update the numbers to be more consistent with the numbers of the current, hold on, we lost my map, of the current districts, which I have. Well, here, it's over here as well.
Yeah, you guys have copies.
But we need to show the public.
Which we have here. It's also, I think you have it on a paper form in front of you. The additional bonus of renumbering the districts is that the districts on that particular map that were similar colors are now further apart. So they're still the same color, but they're not touching each other, so it's a lot easier to see. There are 2 greens, especially on that map. The 1 green on the outside, that is the entire, Is that the new one? Okay.
Well, that's the map.
Yeah. So this is the updated map with the updating numbering. The board had also asked to have a total of how many school attendance areas were represented in each district. So that information is on the screen here. All but one of them were representing 2 or more districts, while the average was around 3.5. Most of them were 4 or 5 districts. The board had also asked for a kind of overlay of the existing sub-district map and the new map. As I mentioned, that was difficult to kind of do on 1 map because as you overlay colors with different opacities, you would kind of end up with 49 different colored sections on the map. I did make this animation. The one with the large purple on the right side is the new map, and the one with the red and purple on the right side is the existing map. And I don't know if you guys had time to look at that prior to the meeting. I think we sent that out a little bit earlier. So in addition to those things, we also posted this for any additional public comment from anybody in the community, and we've gotten feedback that has been very consistent with all of the feedback that we've had throughout the process, which has been relatively minimal. So if you guys have any additional questions about the maps, I can help to answer those right now. If not, I will leave this to you to discuss and move for approval.
Board members, any questions for John?
Can you just put back the numbers of attendance zones per district for a second so we have a chance to cross-reference it with our map?
Yeah, it was sub-district 7 that has 1. And I think that's a high density area.
And
it is, and that could have been fixed. It was right on the edge of one of the attendance. It would have been fixing the numbers, but not really fixing the issue.
No,
if we just added 1 block across into the, I think it was the Wiley area. Yeah.
That's kind of doing it in name only.
Yes, exactly.
So that's 7 and 2 has 2. Are those the 2? So those are the 2. Making sure I have the colors and numbers right. Are they both Leal? Is that what that zone is? Okay.
Yes. Yep.
I can jump back to so 7 and 2 are here. So 7 is entirely in the Leal area, and 2 is predominantly in the Leal area and has a section of, I think that's the Wiley area, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is before us, and it's an action item later. Additionally, we will be selecting which 3 of these sub-districts will start with 2-year terms, and the remainder will start with 4-year terms for our 10-year span of time. Any further questions or comments? All right. Summer projects. Randy.
Good evening. The notice was sent out to you guys on Friday. Do you want me to go through line by line, or do you just want me to field questions just to speed it up, or however you want to do it? Pardon?
I guess field questions. Board members, do you have any questions about the list that was sent to you in this week's packet? Okay.
With the, we took on quite a few projects. Katie had me move some of the stuff over to O&M rather than taking out of working cash because we're running low on working cash funds. And then with the construction at Thomas Paine, I think we took on plenty to do this summer, so hopefully.
How many of the summer projects are coming out of life safety funds?
Just the middle school roof.
Oh, okay.
Repair, and that's
oh, there it is. Yeah.
with a $50,000 maintenance grant.
Okay. All right. Any further questions or comments?
Question.
Go ahead, Robbie.
Is this document going to be on the website?
It should be in our, yeah.
Okay,
it's in our
because if it's
circle.
not, then you should say what these things are, because people watching this have no idea how to read a thing they can't see.
No, that's true.
But if it's on the website, then you can refer to the website.
It should be.
Part of the packet.
Everything from the packet should be up there. I guess I didn't verify that personally. But if there's work at King, Wiley, a substantial amount of work at Urbana Middle School and the high school, including mostly doors and flooring, some roof work at the middle school. Williams has got an intercom system. Yankee Ridge has got office windows and blinds and bathroom remodel. Across the district, there's some stuff for floor scrubbers, mops, and stuff like that. I guess it's a warehouse truck is a big ticket item for the maintenance facility, but that's something that comes up periodically.
Yeah, it's a maintenance van and a truck, a little around $100,000 probably.
And Randy, do you want to mention the issues possibly with the UMS roof and maybe not being able to get materials in time, and so that kind of may not happen?
We met with IGW and the roofers today, and they came to us with the possibility of not being able to get materials to do the roof. They're hoping they're able to get everything they need, but if not, there's a chance that this could be postponed or pushed back till next year. With this maintenance grant that we got, we have 2 years to spend that $50,000 towards this. But one thing I would definitely be worried about is the cost rising if they do put it off another year. I think we'd have to start over with probably taking it out to bid. I'm not sure how that would work, but even though we have a signed contract with them, I can see them, they talked as much as, stuff's going up as much as 60% in some of their jobs that they've already bid out this year.
That's a huge risk.
Right now we're good, but they said just be prepared.
Okay, well, thanks for that warning.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else? All right, thank you, Randy. Up next are our action items for the consent agenda. If anyone wishes to remove an item from the consent agenda to be voted on individually, please speak up after I read them off. First up is the minutes from the March 7th Equity Task Force Committee, the March 8th business meeting, the March 22nd Parent-Teacher Advisor Committee meeting, the March 29th Special Board meeting, the April 5th Study Session, the April 12th Parent-Teacher Advisor Committee, and the April 13th Facilities Property Committee. Bills and checks for February Ed Fund bills in the tune of $1.445 million. Operations and Maintenance Fund bills for $371,000. Transportation Fund bills for $305,000. Working cash bonds for $324,000. Tort for $76,000. Payroll, salary, and benefits for $4.6 million. For March, we have Ed Fund bills for $1.3 million, operations and maintenance fund bills for $91,000, transportation fund bills for $29,000, working cash bonds for $713,000, tort for $73,000, life safety levies for $5,450, payroll, salary and benefits for $4.5 million, and Urbana adult education for $200,000. There's a list attached in our packet for personnel items. There is also another list for administrative personnel items. Is there anything you just to highlight on that real quick?
First, I'd really like to ask the board and just the audience looking, watching at home, to just notice that we have several really good people retiring, and we want to thank them for their years of service. At the end of May, we always have our retirement dinner, and so that's also coming up. But I just wanted to notice that this is the season of big changes on our personnel, where we have people moving out of the area, people advancing within the district, and retiring. So we want to thank them for their service. We also have an administrative recommendation this evening. In February 2022, we posted an administrative position in response to the growing needs of our successful dual language program over the past 10 years. In addition, district leadership saw a need for alternative programming to serve students with different needs during the school day. On Monday, April 11th, interviews took place with a Level 1 committee made up of teachers, families, and administrators. On Thursday, April 14th, Level 2 interviews were held with district-level administrators. This evening, the district administrative team has a candidate to bring forward for board approval. Dr. Joseph Wiemelt has been principal at Urbana Middle School for the past 4 years. He's the former director of equity and student learning, bilingual and multicultural programs for Urbana School District 116, and led the creation and development of dual language programs, ELL programming, and migrant education programming. He was also the high school interim principal at UHS during the 2012-2013 school year, and has stepped in as interim principal at both Dr. Williams and Wiley schools in the past. Joe began his career as a bilingual teacher as a student teacher in the Dominican Republic, followed by teaching in Decatur Public Schools and Urbana Middle School for 5 years. He received his undergraduate degree in elementary and middle school education from Millikan, ESL bilingual certification from ISU, and the school business official endorsement form from Northern Illinois University, Master's and Doctorate of Education in Educational Policy, Organization, and Leadership from the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign. His research interests include the intersection of critical race theory, transformative school leadership, and bilingual education for emergent bilingual students. Joe has been an adjunct instructor in bilingual education and educational leadership for the U of I at Urbana-Champaign, Millikan University, and DePaul University. In 2017, Dr. Wiemelt worked as an English specialist in southern Spain as part of a professional development project through the U.S. Department of State. Most importantly, Joe and his wife Jenna and 3 boys, Nico, Dylan, and Logan, live in Urbana and are committed to the growth of our schools and community. So the district administrative team would like to recommend the hiring of Dr. Joe Wiemelt as the new executive director.
Thank you. Also on our consent agenda is appointment of school treasurer for Dr. Preston L. Williams to be our school treasurer for the 22-23 school year at a salary of $5,200. Appointment of school auditor for BKD LLP for $46,200, and a $2,300 fee for the Illinois Community College Board. A resolution authorizing and directing the sale or disposal of property, so 11.7. 11.8 is the IHSA membership renewal. And 11.9 is a building permit application for the UMS roof. That's our consent agenda. Does anyone wish to remove any item from this consent agenda to be voted on individually?
I'd like to make a comment. I think we should recognize that first public comment and change the minutes for the March 7th Equity Task Force meeting because no recommendation was made at that meeting.
I would concur with that, actually. With the board's, I guess, consent, I'd like to pull that out as a separate action item from the consent agenda, the minutes approval. Is that all right?
Yes.
Okay, so that is now off the consent agenda and will be voted on separately. Is there anything else does anyone wish to pull off the consent agenda? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the amended consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All right, any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Member Hasanadka?
Yes.
Member Hall?
Yes.
Member Orr?
Yes.
Member Ogalski?
Yes.
Member Carter votes yes. Vice President Exum?
Yes.
And President Pulaski?
Yes, going back to.
Congratulations, Joe.
Oh, sorry, sorry, Joe, thank you, congratulations.
Thank you, congratulations.
Thank you.
You're gonna be fantastic in this new role. Thank you for your service to the district. 11.1 are minutes to the various meetings that were previously read. The comment in question was related to the March 7th Equity Task Force Committee meeting minutes. Is there a motion to amend the minutes that were in our packet?
I'll make that motion. It's the last two sentences need to be stricken.
Okay, and then, is there a second?
Second.
All right. I guess, yeah, roll call. Let's do it for minutes.
Member Hasanadka?
Yes.
Member Hall?
Yes.
Member Orr?
Yes.
Member Ogalski?
Yes.
Member Carter votes yes. Vice President Exum?
Yes.
And President Pulaski?
Yes, minutes approved as amended. Okay. Now to our individual action items. Would anyone else like to read off the gifts tonight, or otherwise I'll go ahead though.
All right, thank you. Scott Frackley, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name, of Champaign, donated $100 to the 7th grade volleyball program. Urbana First United Methodist Church donated $300 worth of socks for students and snack treats for staff at Urbana Middle School. And Nancy DeForge, Florida, donated $1,000 to the Sandra Cooper Memorial Scholarship. Dream Girls Academy donated $200 for school supplies to the dynamic team at Urbana Middle School. Marie Arrowwood and B. Arlen Goldberg, Urbana, donated an electric keyboard and stand to be used at Urbana Middle and High School music programs. Urbana Adult Education Center received a $1,590.50 donation in honor of the memory of Bill Curry by his friends. The CU Autism Network and Urbana Middle School PTSA donated a total of $3,450 to Urbana Middle School to support their sensory area. EY Sumption, Urbana, donated $1,000 to support the Cynthia Ann Johnson Scholarship Fund.
Thank you. Is there a motion to receive these gifts and send out thank you notes?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. 12.2 is the 205 North Race Street District property, this very building. The facility request committee is requesting that we set a purchase price on this street. I guess, Katie, could you kind of describe to the public in broad details the process for public sale of property?
Yes, sorry. Is this better? The board is having a first read of the draft resolution and notice of sale agreement tonight. At the meeting on May 3rd, there will be the final resolution for approval. And following that, there will be a News Gazette ad that will be published for 3 consecutive weeks with the notice of sale. On the 4th week, after the 4 weeks after that, sorry, I didn't say that right. It will be published for 3 consecutive weeks, and 1 week following the 3rd publishing, there will be a bid opening, a sealed bid opening on May 27th. And hopefully, we'll get a bidder that will meet the minimum bid that the board will set.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of very specific laws with regards to public entities like the school district divesting itself of property, and we're being very careful in meeting those requirements. In closed session, the board discussed a purchase price, and I think that the initial discussion is going to be $950,000 for this building and the property it sits on. So that will be up for discussion and vote on our next agenda.
I might just comment, the property did appraise for $1.3 million in 2018, and that's still a viable appraisal. So we're looking forward to seeing what kind of bidders might be interested in this property.
Okay. Let's see. Sorry, lost my place. 12.5 is, sorry, I missed the life. Geez, I lost my place. 12.3 is life safety amendment for 303 is Fairlawn. So there's a, yeah.
So these next two, 12.3 and 12.4, is the old Comcast space. That's what 303 East Fairlawn is, if you don't recognize the address. That we are moving forward per our discussions about renovating that space for the future alternative programming site, as well as adult education. So we're moving forward with the asbestos abatement, which is 12.3 and 12.4. No, you didn't do the action part for 12.3.
I see. Sorry.
Set the price.
Yeah. My apologies.
Yep.
Thanks, Lori. So I guess to amend the document that was included in our packet, for 12.2, we would have to have a motion to set the price for $950,000. I missed that. Is there a motion to do such?
I move to set the price. Okay.
Okay, let's do this with a roll call, just to be careful.
Member Hassanatian?
Yes.
Member Hall?
Yes.
Member Orr?
Yes.
Member Ogalski?
Yes.
Member Carter votes yes. Vice President Exum?
Yes.
And President Pulaski?
Yes, my apologies. 12.3, as Jennifer just said, there's a request for health life safety amendment with ISB for 303 is Fairlawn. Is there a motion to approve this?
So moved.
Second.
Any further comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Member Hassanatian?
Yes.
Member Hall?
Yes.
Member Orr?
Yes.
Member Ogalski?
Yes.
Member Carter votes yes. Vice President Exum?
Yes.
And President Pulaski?
Yes, 12.4 is asbestos abatement for the same property. Randy, any further comments on that? No?
Just add that we're hoping this comes in under $50,000. If it doesn't, it'll have to go out to bid and slow down the process. We got an estimate, and it was
right there,
right around that number. So we're hoping that it's that they do come in lower. He thought he had it padded pretty high. He was hoping he did. Once we get authorization, I'll contact them tomorrow. We'll have to. It'll go out to. He's going to reach out to like at least 3 different companies to do the removal, and then we'll go from there with the best bid and hopefully get it done in May, so we can start the actual process for the building.
Okay, great.
I have a quick comment as well. The $55,000 that was in the life safety amendment was for construction and architectural services engineering. So the construction itself, we're still hoping remains under 50, and then that other 5 is for other professional services.
The abatement, you mean, not the construction. Yep.
Right, correct.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep.
All right, is there a motion to authorize the spend?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Member Hassan Adkar,
Yes.
Member Hall,
Yes.
Member Orr,
Yes.
Member Ovalsky,
Yes.
Member Carter votes yes, Vice President Exum,
Yes.
and President Pulaski.
Yes, 12.5, our Board of Education sub-district map, the very first plan. I guess before, we continue for a motion, we would need to, select which sub-districts would go for 2 and 4.
So do you want to do that process before the vote?
Yeah, I think we need to designate that, so it's all official.
Here, you want to come up with me? Parker, our student ambassador, has agreed to help me with the process. We have 7 randomly placed cables. The long ones represent 4 years and the short ones represent 2 years. So we'll draw first for District 1, so pull a random. And that's a 2-year term. You can set it down. We'll pull, isn't it? We'll pull second for District 2, and that'll be also a 2-year term. We'll pull third for District 3. That one is a 4-year term. District 4 is a 4-year term. District 5 is a 4-year term. District 6 is a 2-year term, and that should make District 7 a 4-year term.
So 1, 2, and 6 are short.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so those 3 terms, those 3 sub-districts will have 2-year terms in the next election. The rest of them will have 4-year terms. One, 2, 6. So is there a motion to approve the sub-district map with the corresponding term lengths?
I move for approval.
Second.
Any further discussion? It's legal. Let's do roll call, please.
Member Hassan Adkar,
Yes.
Member Hall,
Yes.
Member Orr,
Yes.
Member Ogalski,
Yes.
Member Carter votes yes, Vice President Exum,
Yes.
and President Pulaski.
Yes, 12.6 is the Cunningham Township Supervisor's Office Agreement. Kim?
Tonight, I'm asking for a request for approval for the amended addendum. We did make a slight adjustment just to make the language a little clearer on the days per year for this position. With approval of this position, it would provide a housing case manager that would be on site in all of our schools each day. So we're really excited about this possibility. If approved, this would begin on Monday.
Oh, excellent. Is there a motion?
I move for approval.
Second.
Any further discussion?
I would like to make a comment. So I'm going to abstain from the vote because my wife works for the Cunningham Township. Danielle Chenoweth is her boss, and Kyle Patterson is her coworker, as well as a fellow county board member, where he's also the county board chair, and my wife's on the county board, so I will abstain.
Thank you, Rafi.
Also, I didn't ask them any questions 2 weeks ago, nor I'm asking any questions now.
Understood. I appreciate it. Roll call, please.
Member Hassan Adkar,
Abstain.
oh, sorry. Member Hall,
Yes.
I'm spacing, sorry. Member Orr,
Yes.
Member Ogalski,
Yes.
Member Carter votes yes, Vice President Exum,
Yes.
President Pulaski.
Yes, very happy for that. That's our action items. There is a call for a future special executive meeting tomorrow night at 6:30 p.m. for student discipline. Superintendent's report.
I thought it was at 6. It should be 6.
Okay, sorry, the agenda is wrong. We're meeting, so the public's aware, It's tomorrow night at 6 p.m. At 1101 East University.
All right. We have a lot of celebrations and also several upcoming dates. It is the end of the year, so there's a lot going on in the district. So we're just trying to keep the public abreast of all the activities. So our UHS track team hosted their an invitational this past Saturday at the high school. So congratulations. They took home the varsity win at the 77th Urbana Open. So last week's victory was amongst 12 teams. And it says at Rantoul, but I thought they were here. So
I think the prior one.
yes, the prior one. Okay, gotcha. Yes. So yesterday, Andre Hunt, a dual signee athlete, is continuing his athletic and academic career at Elmhurst University, which is right outside Chicago area. He'll be attending on full scholarship for football and wrestling. He's a 3-time varsity letter winner in football and a 4-time varsity letter winner in wrestling. So he plans to study nursing there. He is a great kid. We're so proud of him and excited for his family. So congratulations to Andre. This Friday, Urbana the Jazz Cafe for UMS and UHS. If you haven't been before, you're in for a treat. It's nice to be able to do this again. It will be in the UHS Commons at 7 p.m. So you will get to hear great music and also a special performance by the a cappella. There is a suggested donation of $5 at the door or a maximum of $12 per family, and there is food available for purchase. Great night of fun. Last week, Annie Jr., the Broadway on Vine present performance of Annie Jr. was fantastic. Here are a few photos, and if you didn't get to come out, you missed it. The kids were fantastic. So great job. It was also wonderful to be able to do this again in person, and they're just going to be on to great things when they get to the high school and in that auditorium. We can't wait to see them. So next Wednesday, April 27th, we're going to be hanging with Mr. Cooper. That's our new phrase for the people from the 80s who are 90s who remember that show. So UMS principal meet and greet. Mr. Derek Cooper will be at UMS from 4 to 6 next Wednesday. So we'd love families, incoming UMS families, incoming 6th graders, current families, students, anyone from the community, you're welcome to come out in the cafeteria next Wednesday to meet Mr. Cooper. We are going to be hosting or presenting our first community newsletter. This is something Catherine and I have been talking about a lot. It's something I've wanted to do since becoming superintendent. As the board knows, we have a lot of people in our community who do not have children in Urbana School District, and they often stop me and want to know about what's going on in our schools. So the newsletter is a great way for our taxpayers to see all the wonderful things that are happening in our district, as well as Urbana residents to kind of keep up with the fantastic events and upcoming projects happening in the district. So Catherine has created a sign-up, and we're sharing this widely. So we've shared it with a lot of neighborhood groups. We have some of our community partners, the city, the library, who are helping to get the word out. So please sign up and follow the bit.ly, and you will automatically get that e-newsletter delivered to you when it's available. So next Thursday, we are hosting our very first reunification drill. So this is something else that our crisis committee had been planning since my first year, something I orchestrated when I was in Unit 4, and I really wanted to do this our first year, and COVID happened and we weren't able to. So the crisis planning team has been working on this all year. We are going to be hosting that drill only with Team Phoenix. We originally were going to try to reunify a bigger group, but right now we're just gonna, I think we can still get through all of our processes and our protocols to have an effective practice and not have to disrupt UMS or one of our elementary schools as much as we would if we utilize all of the students. So Team Phoenix is the only team at UMS that will be participating in the drill. Stone Creek Church is one of our partners from UMS, and they graciously agreed to be our reunification site for the district. So we've been there several times. Our planning team, we were there today and did a full walkthrough with all of the district staff who are going to be the reunification activation team that will go there to help reunify students and families. I encourage all Team Phoenix, we've been sending messages, so please, if you have not already gone into your Skyward Family Access to make sure whoever is picking your student up, you have put them in the system, because we cannot release your student or your child unless that person is listed as an approved adult in your Skyward system. So we'll be sending more messages out this week. We've asked families on Team Phoenix to block out at least 12 to 1, and we hope everyone participates. We know it is the middle of the day, and some people don't have the ability to leave their job or whatever they're doing to come and pick up their child, but it is a great way for the district to really practice our systems and all of our notification, our communication. Our buses will be picking up students. We'll basically be running this as if it were really happening. We are utilizing a gas leak is the event that will be happening, so we won't be traumatizing students. It won't be scary. It'll be exiting the building in a orderly and timely way, and it'll give us an opportunity to make sure we are creating a template and a plan that we can then share with every single one of our buildings. So this has taken a lot of time and effort and planning. I know it sounds like something we've been able to just kind of do, but it has taken a lot of effort. So we're really excited to see that finally happen. Online registration, we've talked about that here, opens Tuesday, May 31st. The deadline to register is Monday, July 25th. I'm going to say this as many times as I can. For returning families, if you have not registered by Monday, July 25th, you will not have transportation on the first day of school. We're going to promote that as much as we can. The new families will be registering the rest of that week, and so we need our bus drivers and our bus company to be able to focus on getting new families into the system for those last couple of weeks. So our returning families have weeks and weeks and weeks to get registered, so please make sure you're registering between May 31st and July 25th. Kindergarten open house, we've been sharing these. We're really excited to be able to offer these in person again. Those are all at all 6 elementaries during the month of May. Check out our website for more information. Kindergarten Readiness Camp, we've shared this several times. That will be June 6th through 9th at Dr. Williams School. The sign up is also available online, and it is free. So we encourage families to get a jump start on kindergarten. 6th grade orientation, we've shared these dates as well. There is a 5th grade family orientation evening event for incoming 6th graders at UMS on April 25th. Lots of upcoming dates. So this Saturday is prom. There's a lot of excitement about that this week at the high school. And students are going to be doing a lot of COVID testing and getting a lot of things done in advance before prom. So that is Saturday. Anastasia the musical is coming May 5th through the 8th. UHS Honors Night and National Honor Society Night is May 18th. I do need to let the board know that the adult education students have voted, and they've met with their teachers. They so enjoyed having their own graduation last year that they decided that is what they'd like to do again this year. It is a small group, and so they felt like since it is such a small group, they want to stay together. And that will be May 24th at the UHS Auditorium at 6. Angie earlier mentioned the retiree recognition dinner. That is confirmed for May 25th from 6 to 8, so we'll be sharing more information about that as well. May 26th, 8th grade promotion. There will be 3 different in-person promotions, 9 o'clock, 10:30, and 12 o'clock. So we'll get that information out to the board as well. We're just not ready to put 300 students and their families all together yet, so we are offering 3 separate promotions. That went really well last year, so we're going to do that again this year. And then also on May 26th, UHS graduation, 6 p.m. at State Farm Center. So I know I'm reading this to the board, and you guys are aware of this, but I'm also saying it out loud for the public. And then we'll put the Board of Education update out tomorrow, so everyone is also able to mark their calendars for all these upcoming important dates.
Sorry to interrupt, but Jennifer, do you happen to know if Gerber's having a graduation this year?
The Gerber students usually participate in our.
They come on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep,
Okay.
Yep, they participate in the high school if they graduate.
Where have we been in the past where we did it out at the school itself?
We did one year.
We did
Gerber?
one year, yeah.
Oh.
So that's why I asked, because I didn't know if it was
Not-
going to be combined or.
I've always thought they've gone through, because they're technically middle school and high school students,
Yeah,
so.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, I will check with that, on that with Jen Rowan. If Todd were here, he would know, but, he's out of town for a funeral, but, okay, I think that is the last slide. We have a couple of FOIAs. Yuli Barishnikov, recordings of meetings of the Equity Task Force on 3/7/22, and the first 2 hours of the board meeting on 3/8/22. Yuli Barishnikov, all official communications, including email, other electronic exchanges such as text messages, messages through Slack, etc., pertaining to the decision to convene the unscheduled meeting of Equity Task Force on March 7th. Ruth Kantorovitz, email link to Zoom video and the passwords for the Equity Task Force Zoom meetings on 3/7/22. Also links to the Zoom videos of the previous ETF Zoom meetings. There should be 8 of them as listed on the ETF page on our website. Those have all been completed and fulfilled.
Thank you. Any board reports?
I've got a couple of recognitions. So Michael had started talking earlier today about his first time doing oratory, and that was actually through the CU Optimist Club, where Michael was actually our local winner. He then was moved on to the zone level, which took place in Taylorville on April 9th. Placed second there, which gives him the opportunity to go for the district level, which is going to be held April 30th in East Peoria, for a chance to win up to $2,500 in scholarship money. There are advancements from there that go on and on up to the national level. Those who continue to advance on placing first each time have an opportunity to win $25,000 in scholarships, but they could also win less if they're like second or third place. So just wanted to say good luck to Michael. He's gone, but he knows he has our luck. He's been working with some of our Optimist Club members on practicing his oratory skills, and we have a couple members who actually kind of have an expertise in that area. So it's been a great experience for him. So congrats on that.
Can you share that with Catherine so we can put it in
Yeah.
the update?
Yeah, I'll send that. I also wanted to mention I was able to attend the Gamma Upsilon Psi Society Cotillion Ball, which is a yearly cotillion held here in the Champaign County area. The winner this year was an Urbana High School student, second year in a row for an Urbana High School student, Breshawn Cunningham, who is an Urbana High School December graduate. So she'll come back and walk with her class, but she finished in December, so just wanted to congratulate her. And then the CU Optimist Club also honored 6 youth who are doing amazing things here in the community, who have overcome, in some cases, some categories, many challenges in their lives. The categories are art, community service, courage, fellowship, humanities, and science. Happy to report that 4 of those 6 kids were actually Urbana School District kids. They were able to receive a medal and $50 cash, which is a lot to a kindergarten through 5th grader. We found that they were just so blown away by getting a $50 bill. We did have WCIA news out for that, and I just wanted to put a shout out to Dr. Is it Dina Armstead or Dinah? I always get her mixed up. She is a King early childhood educator who gave amazing words of encouragement to the kids on that night. She was just awesome, and so thank you to her, and congratulations to the 6 youth, especially the 4 in Urbana. That's all I had, just some good things happening in the community.
Any other board reports?
I just wanted to give a reminder, since we got an email, I can't remember if it was earlier this morning, from the CU Schools Foundation about the Fowler Farm open house that's happening next week. I have been to that a few times, and it is really exciting to see the work that kids, there are a lot of kids from Urbana who go along to help at this farm. For anybody who's never been there before, it's way out in the west. I don't know. You have to take Bloomington Road to get there, but they have chickens, they have farm stuff, they have a pizza farm, they do their own harvesting and growing and things, and so it's just a great chance to see what kids getting their hands dirty looks like when they do open, farming practices and working with the land. So if anybody can go out there from 3:30 to 5:30, hopefully the weather is good, but it's always fun, and you can ask lots of questions.
Any other board reports? I have a couple real quick. One is a reminder that our financial disclosure forms are due, I think, prior to our next meeting. So if you have any questions on how to do that, please contact administration. The next is I would like to thank all of our officers for serving the past year. Our terms are up after, as of the next meeting, we'll be voting on new officers. So be prepared to do that at our next meeting. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We're done. Thanks, everybody.